Hi, everybody. It's Stacey Sobel with Salon Today Conversations. And today I have another Stacey, spelled the same way. It's
so
Stacey Hamblett from Urban Salon. Hi, Stacey.
Hi, Stacey.
And you're in Burlington, Vermont.
I am.
Part of the country I've never been to. So
you have to come visit. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Cold, but gorgeous.
well, it's lovely to meet you. And you've been doing some really interesting things with your quarantine time. You kind of used it to pursue some dreams that you've had for your salon that you hadn't had time to do. And one of them is launch a private label line. Mm-hmm. So talk us about that process. And it also came out during the quarantine. So how are you using it with people right now?
Yeah, it's been something that I worked on for a few years. And when I say worked on, it's like just finding the company that works for you. Obviously, bigger companies have bigger, larger standards and order minimums. And so it was finding the right product, but also finding the time to be able to focus. So my goal back then, having a private label was kind of like a cool thing, an ego thing, like, ooh, I want my own private label. And over the years, but most recently in the last year, and as I was changing my boutique into really only having things in here that worked with my philanthropy, which was to empower women, it kind of kept coming to the surface. And coming to the forefront. And last year I was at a conference with Strategy Salon and Spa Business Management. I was a coach for them. And there was somebody there, Matthew, who is founded Justice and Soul. And honestly, he is so philanthropic in helping, he does this radical move about helping women who've been
You're talking about Matthew Fairfax?
Yeah. He's just his presence is just so amazing. And we talked about his story, and when you're touched by something like that, you just can't ever turn back from that. And I said, wow, you made such a radical change. And I just came back and I said, I need to do something that has a consistent feed into feeding the philanthropy that I'm interested in, which is helping women of sexual violence. And I had also met another private label while I was there that I fell in love with. I ordered their intro and I loved it. I worked with it with a team for about 6 months on clients, and I really liked it. And so I just said, it's time to do it. And I worked on the marketing and so on and so forth, and pulled the plug and launched it. Ordered it in February, and it arrived in April, right as we closed. Literally, the boxes came the 3 days after we closed.
So for people who haven't ever really looked at private label, how much ownership over the line do you have? Is it the branding, the packaging?
So it depends. Every company is a little bit different. Like some companies, you can formulate it, and that's what I'm saying. There's so many that you can really work with. And I'm a small business, so I couldn't really afford to get into like my own perfumes and scents and packaging and all those things. So basically it was working with a label, and because of this particular company that I chose, because it has a lower minimum order, they're like us, for me, they're like me. I can call them and say, hey, and I can say their name, and they're really great, and they won't sell within the area because, it's basically a very similar product. So it depends. Whatever company, like you can get into a company that has all kinds of options. So
what did you name your line?
So it's called Urban Lifestyle, which is part of my whole evolution during this pandemic is lifestyle. So creating a lifestyle for women also I had a huge shift while I was during this pandemic, and just understanding my own time and the time of women in the salon who work. Most of them are breadwinners, and they still have to go home and do all their womanly duties. I'm an empty nester now, so I could really focus on this and nobody else. But I saw my teen really having to learn how to homeschool, full-time mom, do all their other stuff. And, you know, my oldest daughter has worked for me for 10 years and she has a 1.5-year-old. Her and her husband just bought a home. So she's settling in and she has a baby. And it really opened my eyes to, not only because of her, but I'm a grandmother now. So I was like, you know, there just needs to be a different lifestyle for women in the salon world. I've always felt like I came from banking and insurance and in the corporate world, and then I went to cosmetology later in my late 20s. So when I got into the cosmetology world, it was a little strange to me because I was like, what do you mean clients belong to you? I don't understand this. I just came from a business perspective. So it didn't make sense to me. I worked in a big salon that was commission based. I saw all the problems in there. I rented a chair for 3 years while I was having babies and saw the problems in there, but I saw the solution for me at the time. And I still feel like we really have to create a workplace that works with our lifestyle as women. And the brand came also at a perfect time because right now, with the way the world's changing with, you know, Amazon and copycats and things like that, you know, I really wanted my brand to have an emotional connection for the people who work here, and so they could profit from that, but also the people who shop here. I want them to feel good about what they're purchasing. I want them to feel good about what they're using, you know, and the whole tagline of my line is look good, feel good, and do good, because the world needs more people doing good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how many SKUs are there in the line?
This one they're always coming out. I just got a package of new items of things that I had of interest. In my line right now, there's 27 SKUs. So there's a luxury line, and then there's a classic line. So they're priced exactly the way my leading brand has been that I work with in the salon. And I wanted to make sure it was comparable. I work with another line that's very high end, that's very luxurious, but this is really my main core now. This is really what I want to change people, because I really, you know, the salons have to be profitable, and the higher expense now, the, you know, commission rates. I'm not a commission salon. I'm a team-based salon. So people have guaranteed salaries and they earn their tips. They also get benefits, and which, you know, during this time they haven't had any problem. They went home and they filed for unemployment, and everything they've always made is now coming through in their check, and it's a relief. I'm still providing benefits, short-term, long-term disability, things like that. Because, you know, I want to make sure they're taken care of. You know, if I take care of them, they're going to take care of clients the way they're supposed to.
So what is the profit margin, if I can ask, between the difference between your private label line now and the other lines you carry?
Right. Well, you know, a regular profit margin for, you know, a traditional line is, you know, right about, you know, 200% and, about 100%. And, you know, then all the shipping and things like that. So it can be from 250 to 250 to 300%, which is amazing because you're cutting out the middleman. You know, you don't have to pay all the distribution charges, which I'd rather have it to put into benefits. I'd rather have it to put into salaries. I'd rather have it to be put into paying bills. So you can give back. And that's, you know, I work with my team in a way that we do monthly financials. They know exactly what the profit margin is and they care about it. You know, they want to know, and we have a profit club. So the more profitable the salon is, the more profitable they are, you know. And in my, what I believe is that I was a booth renter. It was great at the time, totally great. But there was a time when I thought to myself, well, I can't do this forever. Like, you start out and you go to do that because you want more time. You don't want to have to ask for time off, and you want more money, and you get there. And then all of a sudden you're spending more time because you have to, you're now ordering, you're now having to learn all the finances. You have to learn how to file taxes differently. You have to order, you have to understand your profit margin. You have to, all of that. And then you get held hostage because you have to work your body so long to support the lifestyle you created. So at Urban, people have other responsibilities. So if they're not productive, they're doing inventory, they're creating, we have a cafe here, so they're creating drinks and they're ordering things and they're brainstorming. And honestly, I feel that people have to create new skills, and they have to have a different understanding than just how to cut hair. I mean, I'm 54, I'll be 55 this year. And, my body's starting to break down. I've been doing this 27 years, and understanding how, self-care, I think that's a piece that's missing, because we just have to run that wheel when we have a life that we have to support now. And there's no guarantees. Like, look at us now. Like, there's no guarantees with where we're at. So I think this time has allowed me to really open up to get more creative on a business model that works for people at different times of their life and different needs too. You and I talked about this. There's so many options in this industry, but I also believe that we're not really taught right from the beginning to really research in your soul what you want to do. It's like, where am I going to get paid the most right now? Like,
it
there's
changes over time. What your needs are in your 20s are different than your needs in your 50s for all of us. So
yeah. And I just think not having to be behind the chair, there's such a loss of things that are so familiar, but there's such an adrenaline that I felt from having time to create and develop. The salon industry has been so focused on, which I think is great, is so focused on the technical part of it and even the professional part. But I think what is missing is the emotional development. I've had stylists that have been doing hair for 10 years, new stylists. They're all at a different emotional level. And so that needs to be nurtured differently. And I am a certified life coach and health coach. So I did that basically learning because I did it for my own issues, but also women were talking about those things in the chair, like the same things: hair loss, hormones, stress, demand. And I was going through the same thing. So I was like, hey, I want some answers for myself. And I'm just such a solution seeker. If something's broke, I'm going to find out where the root of it is and figure out why it got there to begin with, and not just, pat it and set it in the side. Yeah.
So you've also, the order came in while you guys were closed. So how are you introducing clients to the line now?
I'm forcing them. I'm telling them there's nothing else available. No. I was like, we don't have that anymore, but I can replace it with this. Well, we started an online shopping cart in a half a minute, overnight, basically. And I'm having a small little technology affair with my IT guy who's in DC. And we just uploaded a shopping cart and I bundled it together. I bundled like a 10-ounce classic line and then a small travel at a good discount. And anybody who orders from, because we also created the DIY for color. So people do curbside. I put something in every bag. And
so a lot of sampling.
Yeah, I'm putting all travel side. So I did work with my distributor, with my private label, and said, listen, I need to get this in people's hands and I need you to help me with a discount, like, so I can buy this. I also, when people placed an order of over $100, but I also put these little, they're called, I don't even have one with me. They're beauty hugs that every order that's over $100, we donate to our hospital, to essential workers in the housekeeping department. And it's a shampoo and conditioner, and it's a little card that says, consider yourself hugged. And
oh, nice.
yeah,
Nice.
so that's been great. So I literally just giving it away in a good, kind-hearted way. So I hope everybody's just enjoying it up at the hospital. Yeah, so that's been great too.
So talk about the philanthropy that you've chosen to support and what you're going to do for it.
Well, Justice and Soul is one that I'm deeply committed to. But in the salon, I was talking about this passion, and I had a client who said, oh my God, you need to get involved with this. We've done cut-a-thons for women helping battered women in the past and things like that. It all started, which is a really horrible way that it started, but years ago, there was a client in the salon, and she was just a joy. She was in her young 20s, and she had been coming to the salon, and she, left the salon to go home, and that night, she was brutally murdered and sexually assaulted and left for dead. It rattled me to the core. Like, my oldest daughter, who now works for me, was going to college in Boston. She was the same age. And I was like, this could have been her. And so every night I was kind of crazy for a long time, where she had to talk to me on the way home, and things like that. I got on the board of that organization just because it was so near and dear to me. Thankfully in my world, I've not experienced that, but I just have this, my mom was such a philanthropist. She'd go buy coats and go drop them over the interstate to people. And I think that's probably where I get it from. So the woman who was in the salon asked me to come work with this board, and it's called Hope Works, and it's in Burlington, Vermont. And they do a ton of amazing work for people who've been victimized by sexual violence. So a portion of the proceeds of the profits, once we get profitable, and that's what I keep saying, you're not only just supporting the beauty of our brand and a local business, but it's also taking it one step farther. And again, I think people really need to understand and think about their mark on the world. Like, what are they doing? I mean, I own a beauty salon, and my whole entire life has been beauty is just perceived as vain, shallow. I can't tell you, we live in Vermont. So if I had $1 for every time somebody came and said, I'm just low maintenance, but I need to be here every 3 weeks, so my grade doesn't show. And I was like, it's okay. It's okay to be high maintenance. It's
Don't
okay.
apologize.
Yeah. I was like, it's all good. I had to do this is the first time I had to do my hair and makeup in like weeks. I was like, I'm not going on there. So I don't know. I just think as we get older, we find what means a little bit more to us deeper down, and what we can do and for others than what we can really do for ourselves. And in doing so, it does come back.
So you also have an interesting perspective on what you carry in your boutique. You kind of have guidelines that products have to pass, and what are those?
So everything in my salon has to be free from animal cruelty. So every bag, we have 3 handbag lines in here. They're all vegan and animal cruelty free, driven by women. So all of the designs and jewelry, anything in here is created by women. We have bath products. I'm also looking into, right now, I'm working with somebody on a private label for urban lifestyle bath care and candles, and or gives back to the world. So we work with a company called the Giving Keys. They're made from old.
I gave those out to our staff one year. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, so it's just so amazing. I had a new employee start today, and I gave her a card, and it's from a company that every card that's purchased, she provides a meal in the most impoverished place in Tennessee. So like on top of the card rack, it says, "Thank you, Stacey. You supplied 36 meals." Like, what woman walking into a salon won't feel good saying, I'll buy that card if it's going to provide a meal to somebody? So yeah, lots of jewelers who, you know, they're just trying to live their dream, and I want to support them. And I think women feel better giving gifts like that too. There's a jeweler who's local, and she made, I don't have it on, but she made a special necklace just for us. It's an urban necklace.
Oh, nice.
It has like a gemstone, and then it has a little circle that has an etched state of Vermont. So it's like great for like, you know, get graduation gifts and things like that. And people just love it, you know. Young girls who've like maybe did like some braiding of bracelets, we sold those in here, and, you know, things like that. It's always changing.
You touched on it earlier, but Ronit, who interviewed me yesterday, said talk to you about the lifestyle management and how you're looking at changing your salon practices a little bit to create better lifestyles for your team.
Well, I hope this doesn't bite me in the butt for saying this, but I just feel like you know, this whole process has just really made me reflect and get in touch with my relationships, and even with my own kids, that I was absent on Saturdays. And to me, that was me loving them by providing a life, but they remember that I wasn't at their soccer game, or I wasn't there at the first period of their game. So as I see that happening in the salon world, like there's moms who might be going through some really serious things, having babies. Like my daughter was pregnant, and I had to understand her in a different way. So I really said things need to change. And I've only learned in this industry what I've experienced, and I just feel like it's time for something different. So I think that every stylist should be able to have a schedule that works in their lifestyle, and having a couple of Saturdays off at least. When we return for phase one, we're not going to work Saturdays because we've all been home. And we can't come back as much as I need to sell the hours. And I'm sure we're going to sell the hours, but we need more hours available. I just can't put myself and my stylists through that. And so I don't have the perfect answer yet, but I've been determined for years. I just have been too busy behind the chair. So I'm trying to get out of the chair a little bit and create something that is a different business model. Something, because at the 5-year mark, people need something or want something different. They want more time and they want more money. And so what does that mean? You can't pay them more commission. You can't raise their pay so high that that you're not a profitable salon. So it has to be some sort of collaboration. Like, where do you go at 40 years old? You know, when you've been in a salon, we're such nurturing creatures and we're such social creatures. Like I worked in a booth renting, but I worked in a salon. Going to a suite, that works for some people. I would go bonkers. Like I've had a hard enough time not seeing people. So I'm working on creating a lifestyle, not only with the hours available, but how you gradually move through your life and navigate through your life. And with my health coaching and life coaching knowledge and experience, I believe that there needs to be technical, professional, and emotional development through the years. And what somebody at 40 needs from me is not what somebody at 22 needs from me. And so I think understanding that and creating a gradual self-discovery process. You know, I work with Ronit, I've worked with other coaching companies. I think everybody in the world needs like a mentor, a coach of some sort, because when you think you have it figured out, and I will tell you this about Ronit, when you think you have it all figured out, or you're heading in a good direction, something better comes along, something more creative comes along, and we have to reinvent ourselves. We have to rediscover who we are. Who I am now is not who I was even 5 years ago, 6 months ago, 6 weeks ago wasn't even who I was. So we all change and evolve. And I think really we need to get on that in our workforce, especially in the salon world. I was the breadwinner, and I still felt compelled to have all the same responsibilities, and it was hard, the pressure. And so working with women in a discovering way, and I feel like even with employees, but also with women, I'm working on creating this chamber that is where women can find self-discovery modalities and information that they can just go. Hairstylists know everything. First of all, we know all the good restaurants, we know all the great doctors, we know all the great dentists, we know everything. So I even have because we are in a tourist town, I even have a list of all the restaurants and what they provide, and I give it to people because I can't tell them so many, it's over there, take a left, and so I'm just a facilitator. I love providing information that's helped me in my life. And I just think if we as women did more of that, then we would all get along a lot better.
Well, I think you intelligently named your brand Urban Lifestyle because it's going to be a bigger concept than just the product itself. And you said you were a self-professed brand nerd, so.
I know. It kind of happened by chance. I actually was going to call it Urban Life. And then when somebody was getting shampooed and I was running my mouth, and she said, "Oh yeah, that sounds really good, but it's like a lifestyle." And it was like, blink. I was like, "Oh, like how did I not think about that?" But yeah, and just now, the whole lifestyle, we are creating a membership. Well, it's almost ready to launch a membership where you're going to get people will get these beauty chamber boxes that have lifestyle and hair products, but also other things. We have journals, and we have candles and things like that just bring us back to not only our exterior, but how it makes us feel when we're doing it. So
that sounds great. Well, I will definitely pop in if I'm ever in Vermont, but just love what you're doing, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks. I'll send you a box.
Deep into the lifestyle. I love a box.
I'll send you a box. Okay. Thanks, Stacey. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Stacey. It was nice. I always love it when I meet someone with my same first name.
It's always so weird to say your own name.
It is. It's not a common name, so thank you so much.
Thank you.